Hey everybody, I just had a conversation on one of my videos with a subscriber. He had told me that in a certain county in Indiana, the local authorities have stated that you cannot live in a trailer. Okay. I'm guessing he means like a camper, because I don't see how they could stop you from living in a mobile home if you own the land. And what he was saying was they around there they only sell in 5-acre parcels, I guess. My question would be to them, if I buy 5 acres of land, not within, a township or anything like that, just out in the county, 5 acres of land in the woods, what business is it of theirs what I choose to live in? Shouldn't it be my choice to decide my comfort level and what I deem a proper shelter to be? I should be able to go to Lowe's or wherever and get a $400 storage shed, an 8x10 storage shed, and just put it up and live in it if I so chose to. Where do they get off telling somebody what they have to live in? What is it any business of theirs? You're not asking them to live there. So I really don't understand that. Basically to them, they would rather a man be homeless, wander in the streets starving and disease-ridden, rather than living in a bumper pull camper with a working toilet in it. Okay? I don't understand that. We had a little 18-foot bumper pull camper that a minivan could tow around, and it had sleeping for 6. It had a sink, it had a propane stove, a propane refrigerator, it had a shower, it had a toilet. I mean, it had air conditioning, it had a heater, it had like a little propane furnace that was controlled by a thermostat. I mean, it was like a teeny little apartment that you could just pull around with even a minivan. Why is that not acceptable to live in? He said the only time you could live in a camper, basically, is if you were building a new house, and it was a temporary situation. What business is it of theirs? They don't have to live there. Why do they care what a person chooses to live in? I told this guy that around here, I know of one guy that lives in a school bus. I remember when I was a kid, probably around 1995, riding in the car with my dad to this guy's house, so to speak, and he had these mean dogs, so I had to wait in the car. But this guy lived in a dadgum school bus. And I'd say the school bus was about like a 1960, 6 or 7 or 8 model bus. And, why he was perfectly fine. My dad said that he went to high school with the guy and that the guy had lived there, since 1978. So, probably at that time, 20 years he had lived in that bus, and as far as I know, the guy's still there. I mean, and there's other guys around that live in little shacks and whatnot, and, I mean, people around here live in just about everything. There's guys that live on probably $300 or $400 a month, and they're totally happy on that. They live in their little shack out in the woods and do whatever they do. I don't know, but they're perfectly fine. And why would someone be able to tell them that their way of life is not okay. Not okay for who? What does it matter to them either way? Whether you live in a 2-bedroom house or a frickin' bumper pole camper, how does that affect them at all? I mean, maybe like property taxes or something, you know? I mean, around here, property taxes are nothing. You know, we owned the property right next door to us in town. It was a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house in town on about a 1/6 of an acre lot, which is actually 3 city lots broken up, but it's one fairly sized city lot with a 3-bedroom house on it, and our yearly taxes were $190. So I don't think they're getting cheated out of too many taxes. So I don't know. I can't wrap my head around why they would care so much. And, you know, if it were me and I really wanted to live that way, if it was my, you know, purpose or life goal to just move a camper out to the woods and just live in it for the duration, and somebody told me from some authority that I couldn't do that, number one, I'd probably do it anyway. And then when they tried to, you know, do whatever they're going to try to do to kick me out of there, I would go to every court case that I could and kick and scream and do whatever I had to do and, you know, raise as big a fuss as I possibly could about it. And even facing jail time or whatever penalties they would want to impose, I would refuse to leave. You know, maybe that's just me, but I'm pretty stubborn and pig-headed, and when somebody tells me I can't do something that I personally believe that I have the right to do, there's not much that's going to stand in the way. You know, again, it comes down to how badly you wanted to do something. You know, if you didn't care that much about it, you know, you might back off and wait a couple years until, you know, get some finances together and get something a little better in there or something. But, I mean, around here you can buy an actual mobile home, like an actual, I don't know, 14 by 70 trailer house. I've seen them for sale on Craigslist in, you know, okay condition for like $1,200. So, you know, they might need some, you know, painting and drywall and carpet and, you know, maybe fix some floors and windows and stuff like that. But, I mean, for $1,200 and then the cost of moving the trailer and hooking up to utilities, you know, you'd have something to live in. But, I don't know. These guys with these government agencies and all these quasi-authority figures really, pardon my French, but they think they've got the biggest balls in the world, apparently, because they just do whatever they want to do without any regard for what's right or wrong. You know, just like when I called the cops about the stupid dog killing one of my chickens. You know, they had no concern over the right thing to do. They had no, you know, concern over, you know, what's right as far as, you know, the individual is concerned. Their only concern was what their policies were. You know, and that happens everywhere. You know, you call up a bank or whatever and try to get some information, and if their computer says something that you know is not right, there is literally nothing you can say to these people to convince them that their computers are wrong. They go by what they're told, and that's it. And that's the frickin' problem nowadays with all of this crap. All these politicians, all of the lawmakers, everybody, just to be able to keep their job and live their happy little lives in their current positions, they will just go by whatever crap is flowing downhill. You know, everybody's got somebody to answer to, and the crap that just flows down the hill is just gobbled up by everybody along the way. And I'm talking right down to the local representatives, you know. We live in a small town of 15,000 people, and there's a little grocery store in town. It's not open anymore, but it used to be owned by a representative of our area. And, you know, he would come down from Jeff City, which is our state capital. And, you know, I don't know, just looking at the guy, you can tell. He would never say anything to rock the boat. Ever. You know, they don't concern themselves with right and wrong. They only concern themselves with their own well-being and agenda. And that's bullcrap, you know. I would like for once for someone to get elected president and just hold a press conference and say, okay, America, this whole system is garbage, okay? I would like a president to stand up and say, look, I would like to do this, this, and this. Congress is a bunch of crap. They won't do anything that's right, you know. It's not my fault. Blame them. You know, I'm not going to be their scapegoat or figurehead, you know. I mean, we're not even supposed to be a democracy. I watched the president's State of the Union address just a few days ago, and he was talking about democracy this and democracy that. We are not supposed to be a democracy. We are supposed to be a republic. If you don't know the difference, just look it up. There are YouTube videos even explaining the difference between a democracy and a republic. Democracy is crap. It's total garbage. Two wolves and a sheep, just, you know, voting on what's for dinner, you know. 51% of the people decide for everybody. That's never going to work. That has never worked in past history, and it will never work. It always fails. It always has failed. So I just don't understand why a president would get up and spout democracy over and over and over again. Democracy this, democracy that. The Founding Fathers are quoted, directly quoted, saying how much they hated democracy, how much they did not want this country to be a democracy. They wanted us to be a republic. We are supposed to be a republic. You know, 51% of the people are not supposed to decide what laws govern every single individual in the nation. That's not how it's supposed to work. Go through the Constitution. Go through the Bill of Rights. You will not find the word democracy one time in the Constitution or the Bill of Rights. You know, even our, you know, Pledge of Allegiance, you know, and to the Republic for which it stands. We are supposed to be a republic, not a democracy. Why is everybody okay with these politicians standing up and saying all these great things about democracy, you know, spreading democracy and democracy this and that? People should be very upset every time they hear one of these people saying the word democracy. We are not supposed to be that. We are supposed to be a republic. I would like to hear the President of the United States explain to me personally why they think it's okay to promote democracy when we were never supposed to be that. Ever. Why are we not a republic? Why, you know, I can't understand it. I can't understand. Everybody just swallows it and accepts it. Everybody, you know, in the audience at this State of the Union address, oh, democracy, yay, yay, democracy. Who are these people? I am a stupid guy, okay, from Missouri. And I know that this country was set up to be a republic. That's all they ever wanted it to be, was a republic. They never wanted it to be a democracy. They absolutely would have fought tooth and nail and spilled their blood to prevent this country from being a democracy. If I can understand it, why are all these politicians spouting off about democracy? I don't get it. You know, I don't know. Anyways, I'll stop this little rant, I guess. I just thought I would make a little video about the conversation I had with the subscriber, and it just bugged me. It just really ticked me off that these freaking people think that they have some kind of authority to tell people what they can and cannot live in. You know, shouldn't it be up to me to decide whether or not I'm comfortable living in a certain situation or a certain type of building? I don't know. It makes no difference to them. I don't see why they have to get involved with things that don't matter to them at all. It affects them in no way. I don't know. I don't know about them.